Okay, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel again. Okay, so today, for you guys who are interested, this is a day 4 wash and go. I just have it in a pineapple and I just put a hat on because it's hot outside, okay? Okay, so today I'm just going to do like this talk through video because I cut my hair a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, for the first time in 2 years that I've ever like gave myself a trim to my ends. So I'm just gonna do a little talk through video, you know, like 101 cutting your hair 101 yourself thing, and yeah, show you what I did, to be honest. And yeah, so let's get right into the video. So yeah, I went whole full 2 years without cutting my ends at all. And yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna say that. So a lot of people ask me, how do I do it? Like, how is that even a thing? Because people always cut their hair. But honestly, it's possible. It's possible, to be honest. How I maintained my healthy hair through all that time of not cutting my ends off was literally sticking to a legit solid regimen. Everybody's always like, your routine is so long, but literally my routine is long because I do it on one day every week. And I dedicate that time of the week to my hair, and my hair never misses that routine because I'll constantly do it. So like you see on my other videos, I literally wash, condition, deep condition, oil, and use moisturizing products that are safe and especially for your hair. And I stick to that regimen at least once a week. I can do it more than once a week, but that's what works for me. If I were to see knots, I would thoroughly detangle. I always thoroughly detangle every week. I don't use combs and stuff like that on a regular to avoid that whole breakage situation. And I really just like using my fingers a lot because you feel where the knots are. And I thoroughly detangle from root to tip. Like, you might start at your ends, but a lot of times when you watch other people's videos, they tend to forget about the tangles that can get at your scalp, and that's what I always end up at. I always make sure that the hair closest to my scalp is detangled as well, because if you don't have a healthy foundation, then your hair won't strive. So yes, that's basically it. My routine and my regimen, you have to find one for yourself and stick to it. And on top of that, I always say listen to your hair, because literally the way your hair feels is like the way it's talking to you. You will always know what your hair needs based on what it feels and how it's acting and what it looks like. And from then on, it's just you picking products and finding out if it works to, you know, combat or fix the problem that you're seeing or that you're feeling in your hair. So I would just say listen to your hair. On top of that, if it needs a cut, cut it. If it doesn't, don't. Because a lot of times people go into this craze where they like feel like they need to cut their hair and they cut it consistently, whether it's every 6 weeks, every 6 months, and a lot of times that can affect your retaining your hair growth length retaining your length of your hair. So that's what a lot of people struggle with as well. Now it's very important to cut your hair though, because over time your ends are the oldest part of your hair ever since you started growing it out, of course. So it's going to take a lot longer for your nutrients to reach the ends. It's going to take a lot longer for, you know, your products to penetrate old hair, because especially if that old hair is used to those products. And it's just healthy to get rid of those ends if you need to. If you see split ends, if you see single strand knots, get rid of them. Literally, I have a personal problem with single strand knots, but it's not huge for me because I thoroughly detangle every week. But if you see a single stranded knot, cut it. Even if it's just one single stranded knot that you see, cut it. Like, that's just what I have for you, because single strand knots, they just won't ever come out. And if you're the type to straighten your natural hair, that can affect the way your hair straightened will look. So I would just say, yeah, it's important to cut your hair to get rid of those ends that are not to their full maximum health, because a lot of times people like volume, and with dead ends and, you know, messed up ends, damaged ends, you won't get the volume you need because it's weighing your hair down, and you don't want that, of course. And yeah, a good way to notice that your ends are damaged as well is if your new growth looks different from your ends. Okay, so like if your ends are like super attached to a product and your new growth isn't, then it's not technically a problem, but there's a difference in health going on there because your new growth, you know, is fresh hair growing in. So yeah, just make sure you look at that and pay attention to that. But like I said, you only need to cut your hair, in my opinion, if you absolutely need to and you absolutely notice that you have to. Everybody looks at me crazy when I say I don't cut my hair every 6 months, every year, you know. But with my hair, it's just, that's how I've retained my length. That's, you know, a lot of factors go into you having to do that because I've retained length, I've retained health and all that jazz. And yeah, it really hasn't been a problem for me. Yeah, so the tools I use to cut my hair would be hair cutting scissors. Now, of course, you can go to Walmart and get them. You can go to Sally's and get them. You can go to a professional hair salon and get, you know, your professional hair scissors. But I just get mine from Sally's. But I make sure I change them every time I cut my hair, since I am doing it every 2 years, or as ever I, you know, want or feel like my hair needs. You want to make sure they're sharp and not dull. So I use hair scissors and I just make sure they're sharp and clean and not dull, because you're messing with your ends. And honestly, I make sure at the end of when I cut my hair that that you seal it with an oil. So you're opening literally your hairs, like you're leaving the ends open, and you make sure you just want to seal them and close them. So yeah, I just want to make sure and tell you guys that, like, I'm not a specialist in cutting my hair. The way I do it is not the way you have to do it. The way I do it will not work for you 100%, and that's fine. This is just to show you that I've done it. And yeah, so I mean, do this at your own risk, because if you do not feel comfortable cutting your own hair, just don't do it. Go to a salon. You see, but the way I look at it is that I'd rather be mad at myself for messing up my hair than mad at myself for putting trust into another person for messing up my hair when I could have avoided that. So if you don't have the strength and the guts and the courage to do your own hair, just don't do it. And if you do have the guts to do it, just for the first time at least cut off maybe like 2 centimeters and not nothing drastic, so that there is no difference if you don't feel comfortable in the end. So so let's just talk about how I did it. So I freshly washed and conditioned my hair with on my regular wash day, but with my deep conditioner, I literally sectioned my hair. And since I've had my hair edged and I've had like a taper on my sides, I sectioned my hair off into like subgroups, and then within those groups I sectioned them, what is this called, horizontally, because my hair grew like that. If you know what I'm saying, I'll put a picture of like a tapered cut right here. But that's how I did my hair, because I like my shape to be somewhat layered, because it already grew out layered because of my haircut. But yeah, so that's how I did it. So within each section, you know, like when naturals transition and they want to do a big chop and they wet their hair with conditioner and water to see the demarcation line, that's what I basically did. So in one little section, I clumped hair, I detangled it thoroughly. Like, I made sure that mug was detangled, and then I twisted it up. And you know how your twist can be chunky? Sometimes when your ends thin out, your ends of your twist will not be chunky. So I literally just took that end, and I put them in between my 2 fingers, because that's just, you know, a thing to do. I don't know. And I just cut them with my scissors. I did it as much as I felt was needed and as much as I saw was thinning. And if I came across any single stranded knots that were higher than the demarcation line, I just took that out itself and cut the single strand knot off. Not the whole section, but just that little strand of hair, because single strand knots are literally on a single strand. So yeah, I just did that with my whole head. And yeah, that's basically it, y'all. It did not take me long, and I was killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because I did it with my deep conditioner, which added slip, and water, which added, you know, an aid to the slip, and it made it easier for me to see what needed to be cut, while also I was moisturizing my hair so that when I moved on to the next section, it would stay moisturized. And like I said, when I was done, you know, cutting my hair, I took coconut oil and I just applied it to I scrunched it to my ends to make sure, you know, that everything was sealed correctly and stuff like that. And I went on with my normal wash routine. Just kidding. And after that, I literally after I cut my hair, I let it breathe for a couple days. I didn't use product. I just left it with coconut oil, moisturizing, leave-in conditioner, and I left it like that for like a couple of days, just for it to breathe and flourish by itself without, you know, any gel or anything like that making a cast over it and stuff like that. And after that, I literally just did my normal wash and go, and you could literally feel the difference. Like I said, I did not feel like I needed to do it any time before those 2 years. 2 years was just that mark for me that I felt like I just needed to do it. And yeah, 2 years was June 7th. 2 years was June 7th, and that's when I first cut my hair, y'all. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys. Like I said, I'm not a professional, so if you do this, do it at your own risk. You might not agree with me in terms of how long it takes to grow your hair, but just listen to your hair and you will know yourself. And yeah, and if you have any like legit questions, you can ask me down. If you have any legit questions, you can ask me down in the comments below. And if you have any questions on how to cut your hair, honestly, just go to the salon and get like a reference. But make sure you know that you're putting your trust into someone else. And if you're doing it yourself, you're putting your trust in yourself. So yeah, with that being said, I just have to reiterate to you guys that I'm not a pro, and that if you are comfortable doing it, do it. If you're not, don't. Hope this gave you some courage to do it. Hair always grows back, so don't worry. And yeah, I hope this helped you a lot, and you know, helped you, because I've noticed a huge difference on my hair ever since I cut it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped you in any type of way that you needed help in this area. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.
I'ma do it like I ain't been done. I'ma do it like I ain't been done.